Hello everyone and welcome back with me playing another game from this month's June. Is it June? Yeah, I believe so. um, Humble Choice. Yeah. This one is called Citizen Sleeper 2, the Starboard Vector. It's a game that I have absolutely been wanting to play since its inception a long time ago. I played the first one. First one was great. This one, sorry about that. Just managed to knock the mic with my bottle of water. Looks just as good, if not better. Stay up to date? No, I don't really need to do this. As always, this is the first time I am loading up the game. So you guys can see the beginning from the beginning. Tutorials on. We are recommended because, we got to learn the tutorials. Difficulty can be changed anytime during the pause menu. Safe, risky, or dangerous. The intended difficulty for those happy to be challenged. Broken dice cannot be used. Standard stress tolerance. Death incurs a significant permanent penalty. Yeah, you know what? We'll just go with the regular one. Oh, we have different classes. So we've got an operator, an extractor, or a machinist. Interesting. Let's see. So the machinist, it looks like the skills that it has over here is like a 2-level engineer, 1-level interface, no level of endure, 1 level of intuition or intuit, and no engage. Machinist sleepers are built to repair and modify automated systems used in corporate resource extraction. Machinists are very skilled engineers, but their isolated work means they often struggle with tasks requiring a direct approach or social engagement. I didn't realize I was an engineer. Their focus skill allows them to focus on a single task and boost their dice to excel at it. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. The one that we came in on, the operator, has no engineer, level 2 of interface, no endure, level 1 of intuit, and 1 of engage. The operator sleepers are built to work with drones or remote machines over local networks to perform corporate resource extraction from distance. Operators have expertise in working with interfaces and computer systems, but are more physically fragile than other sleepers. Their reboot skill allows them to hack their own systems to re-roll dice, a risky but potentially powerful move. Sleepers assigned to an operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Oh, I didn't see that. Reboot. Accrue stress to re-roll your action dice. +1 to stress, re-roll lowest cost. What was his? Focus, right. +1 to stress, +2 to focus on lowest dice. And the third class is the extractor. It looks like you have 1 in engineer, no interface, 2 to endure, and absolutely no intuit, and we have 1 engage. Extractor sleepers are built to work at the coalface of corporate resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Extractors have a high level of physical endurance, but their confidence means they struggle with tasks requiring intuition. Their rally skill allows them to motivate those in their team, boosting their crew dice. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. That's definitely not me. It does look like either the operator or the engineer or the machinist is really kind of like something that I tend to be with, but I think I'm going to go with the operator. Yeah, using drones and stuff, that seemed really cool. The graphics are really nice. I like the art style. It's very, very, I don't know, niche. Turn the volume down just a smite bit. There's always replayability on these games too, so I can always try out one of the other classes. In the moment before waking, the dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually these pieces come with particular cadence, each appearing sequentially, like the boot process of an old terminal. First, your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the same. Then its context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in 0G. Then emotion coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles. Fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives: the fear. It is scrambled, panicked fear, the drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong. Something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper. The voice is whispered in your ear, an act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper, a familiar name, a mind copied, emulated, a body built, implanted, one person sleeping until their debt is worked away, their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed, a proxy, an emulation, a sleeper. That is what you are. But you escaped. You remembered that now, broke free of your corporate creators, Essenarp, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes and a pale face. Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, one you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt. A sharp smirk. But this ends here. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over you, horizontal, floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away to the corners of your vision to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters, the object you know, and have known for a long time. Stabilizer, the drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind, from inevitably decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid rolling in the vial fills you with disgust. Lane pockets the vial. But would it be wasted on you now, after what you have done to this body of yours? He looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you. Those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you find only dizzying darkness. Shut up, Lane barks. The command, and you hear the sounds of impact, of pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. Free? Are you? Lane smirks. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now, you aren't free. You're just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Lane grits your arm hard, and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move. But you have ruined all of that. Lane speaks louder over the sound of the struggle behind him. I will try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it. But your emulation? You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into your looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Your mysterious savior. Hey! He waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move. Lane won't be out long. He unloops a cable from around your wrist. Sleeper, help me out here. You blink slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you and you feel his hands on the connector, flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on! He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you are in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals. Wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright, screen-filled street beyond. In the corner, you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you are out in that brightness. All that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop at a dark alley, the one who guided you here pausing to catch his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember the station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, Sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead and it floats away in a swarm of spears. Talk to me. Where are we? Somewhere on the starboard side. Not too far from the docks, I hope. You see a concerned frown across his face. That's not what you meant, is it? He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are you on? Then he narrows his eyes and waits for an answer. You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of the station. No. A city growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells, shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me? Who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes, panic perhaps. You stare hard at his face, the slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He is speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process and... He lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. I am so glad I got me a water, because this is a lot of talking. As you lead through the passages and serviceways of the station, you try to recall your life here. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages, cycle after cycle. The rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial, stabilizer, the promise of supplying more for your work, the deal he locked you into like a cage. There your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond, the moment the residue of panic, of fear, remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Wait! Your guide holds up a hand and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead you see the tunnel opens up to a wide open bay with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels. The docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks and see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it. One covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. Utsubo, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eye, and you see he is playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking and slips it away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphin, all right? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane, he was our captor, both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you, to break your dependence on stabilizer. He pauses. Do you know what that is? Right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there, and the reboot didn't complete, and he sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. What's the rig? Seraphin looks annoyed. A ship. Our ship. Or at least it soon will be. Lane assigned it to us when we were on jobs for him. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you can do this. Seraphin kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads! He bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. You wait a breath, then glide across to the door they were guarding. You look already panicked at the tightly sealed door, its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. Alright, so here's the tutorial. During scenes, you may encounter skill checks, where you can perform certain actions using your skills, like the dice actions you will encounter later. Skill checks can have a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The better the rating of your skill, the more likely you will succeed on a check. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. You can see more info in the guide section of the pause menu. So I do not have any engineer, but I do have an interface, which we do have a positive. So we're going to hack the door. But it was just a regular neutral outcome. You shift to the control panel, trying to understand the readout. The door is on emergency lockdown. Somewhere you hear more shouting. Your fingers hover over the keys. You switch to the administration layer and begin flooding the door operation system with spoof requests, desperately hammering the controls. The control OS crashes and the door judders halfway open before failing. Go, go! Seraphin flies past you through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching fast across the docks and quickly glide after Seraphin. Seraphin is already at the rig's door inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open and you both rush inside. Quickly! Seraphin grabs you by the arm and drags you into the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on! The rig's drive rumbles into life and Seraphin slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudge there by the port's docking protocols. You feel a sense of relief. Seraphin burned hard out of Darkside, and you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphin breaks the silence. We're good, Sleeper. His eyes haven't left the monitor, and you realize this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked this ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is, you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. We certainly did. He turns, and you see a pained look on his face, as if remembering something difficult. Have you said this exact same thing to him before, in this same situation? Are you okay? He looks at you, chewing one side of his lip, searching your face. Not really, he puffs. Seraphin reaches up, flickering through a set of switches in a practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realize, is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphin kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, a backlit in cold cyan. We need a plan. He glances around. Lane's not going to let us slip away quietly, he sighs. Well, I mean, first, we kind of need to talk. This is not now, Sleeper. We need to forget. He flinches, the words coming out. We need to focus on something other than... He pauses again, unsure. Us. He sighs. We need to survive this thing first, then maybe we talk. I'm going to stay silent. We have bought ourselves some time. He glances to the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do, and there are plenty of opportunities here for us. If we can keep our heads down. He turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along hand over head, hand in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's insides. So, we need to refuel. And that won't be cheap, but if you and I know one thing, Sleeper, it's how to work. I'm going to get myself reacquainted, see if I can't turn up any old connections. People that might throw us an easy contract. He glances back over his shoulder. You keep out of trouble. Low profile, got it. Seraphin stops at the airlock. Stopping the reboot halfway, though, he pulls a worn crew jacket from locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into his sleeve. I don't want you passing out in... He stops. It'll take both of us. Seraphin sighs. I hate it when you're right. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Thank you. Seraphin nods. He stabs at the bottom button to open the door. The inner The inner door hisses open and Seraphin glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly, you recognize Seraphin's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch. Seraphin throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand, you see a stack of cryo chits. These should get you some food. We'll need some more fuel and supplies. He grimaces. That means odd jobs on the station for both of us. Seraphin kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, all right? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. If you hear popping in the background, there's popcorn popping. So don't let it dissuade you from whatever reading that I'm doing. And with that, he is gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into the Hexport's docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence. Thank you, Seraphin. It's hard to know what's going on inside Seraphin's head. Here he is, on some hapless escape plan with a friend who can't remember a thing about it. You try to imagine how close you both must have been for him to agree to this thing, but it is painful to think about. That's all gone now, anyway. All you can do is move on. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into port. All right. So welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2, Star Ward Vector. The game runs in cycles, during which you can perform actions with your dice. Use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies, and items. Progress clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials at any time in the guide section of the pause menu. Use the mouse wheel to scroll your view. Select locations with left click, right click to leave location. So we can scroll up and down. And this shows what we've got. These are our stat bonuses over here. So we can look at something. So the rig, the Hexport docks, or the Hexport exchange. And these must be our dice. We've got a pretty big map out there. So let's I guess we'll go get some food. Food and supplies. In Citizen Sleeper 2, you perform actions by assigning action dice to them. The higher the dice you assign, the more likely you will succeed at an action. But your dice will be modified by your skill. Your skill modifier for the action is displayed on the right, and you will reduce or increase the value of the dice assigned to the action. Like skill checks, dice actions have 3 outcomes: positive, negative, and neutral. Each action is also rated safe, risky, or dangerous based on the outcomes it has. The more dangerous an action is, the more significant both its rewards and consequences are. For more information on dice actions, check the guide section in the pause menu. Okay, so we need that, so we can't really do that one. This one is a risky, but we have an interface bonus. Buzz of the exchange. Impress the brokers or trade scrap. We have a plus or a bonus, so let's grab. We have a 25% positive, 50% neutral, so let's do that. I'd like to have a 50% positive here. Alright, so we have a rules of the exchange positive outcome. You just progressed a clock. Clocks track your progress towards both positive and negative events and can be performed. Yeah, okay. Alright, so here's this one here. So we're going to have to do it also. We have no engineering feats. So doing this will at least give us a 50% neutral or negative. Or can we just do another one here? Yeah, okay. So I didn't need to do this one at all. But now we have this full. And I don't know exactly what that means. Okay, so I guess it just basically opens up some areas. New locations, so we have the Export Trade Hall and the Hexport Canteen. So we can buy some supplies. Buy fuel. Fill fuel. Fill supplies. What have we got here? We've got 24 cryo. So there's that. And there's that. We're going to need more to get more fuel, right? What does the canteen have here? Here you can eat in exchange for cryo. Eating gives you energy and stops you starving. Different foods give you different energies. Don't have enough cryo for that though. Most trade halls have a canteen where you prepare their own foods. Okay, we don't have any more money for that. Let's go to the docks. Explore the docks is a danger, and this one is a risky. Chat with the crew. That's a positive and a negative. This one, basically the same thing, it looks like. So let's do this one. Neutral outcome. All right. That's also a neutral outcome, but we have a new location that has been discovered. So what is this? The Bins. Chaotic Dockside Bar. It's probably something else that needs cryo, right? Buy a Bins Fry. Or we have a Play, Star, and Stoker. Let's try that. Oh, that gave me some cryo. You've used all your dice for this cycle. You need to end the cycle at your ship, the rig, to re-roll them. But that did give me some money. Did that give me enough money to come over here and eat? It did. Gives me a whole bunch more. Okay, so that's what this is. This little white bar here is energy. The rig is your ship and home in the Starward Belt. While the rig is docked at a hub, there are multiple areas you can visit. Bunks, use dice to reduce stress. Galley, use supplies to regain energy. Other locations will unlock as you play. While the rig is in dock at the hub, your crew will also help to gather resources to contribute to the upkeep of the ship. You can choose which resources they should focus on in the crew tasks menu to the left, and they have a random chance of requiring at the beginning of the following cycle. This clock is a cycle clock. It will progress towards an event. Each cycle, its completion will trigger significant... Okay, so... Can we do an odd job? Right, I don't know what stress is just yet. But we need to end the cycle so we can gain some dice back. We're in trouble, Sleeper. Seraphim leans into the bunks as you are getting up. Without further explanation, it disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift into the passage, pulling on your clothes and glide down the length of the rig, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphim is a silhouette silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shooting you a glance as he does. You and Seraphim inside, holding one of the tangle of arm-thick tubes that you were waving in the Zero-G engine room. You know what these are? Fuel pipes? Close enough. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air, and before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? These must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way from the dark side. He looks at the mess. We are lucky the reserve tank is empty. Otherwise, he shakes his head, it would have been bad. But he pauses the pipe to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means that the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large, lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. Can we fix it? That's the short of it. Seraphim whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of the luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We will need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into the crate. So how about you try to track them down? I'll take a look at these things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you could do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. All right. Seraphim keeps working. Wait, Seraphim pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. A message went out everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking at us. And we can't leave. Exactly, Seraphim sighs, which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no ship fitter. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Get going. You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphim's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines. That's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. You have discovered a drive. Drives help you track and choose your objectives in Citizen Sleeper 2. The arrow button in the top left, over here? Yeah. Top left opens the drive menu where you can choose which drive to track. Once a drive is tracked, a yellow marker will be placed above any location that relates to that drive. Drive comes in two types, a major and minor. On completion, a major drive rewards 2 upgrade points and a minor rewards 1. Keep an eye on the drive menu as you progress to see what new opportunities and objectives are available, and track those you want to pursue. Okay. Escape Hexport. Alright, here we are. New location discovered is Factory Row. That's where we're going. Haul materials. We don't have any indoor whatsoever. But we do have... These are risky. 100% positive. Let's do that. Alright, so we have a new location discovered. Swift Scrapped Soul. Sell raw scrap. Input 1 raw scrap. I don't think I have any raw scrap just yet. And data diffusal shift. So if I do like something like this. Okay, so that just gives me some cryo. Okay. We are still trying to find stuff though, so we're going to need to use nice neutral outcome. You got a trusted supplier. And then this one is a 50-50. Negative outcomes, so we minus N energy because we did that. But we have a trusted supplier now. Factory Row howls as you glide through its cramped passages. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they are now served as containers for industry of every kind. Whirring manufacturers precisely engineer components with rapidly shifting arms, while scrappers hammer incessantly at bent ship plates. Everywhere you look, there is energy and activity, and for a good reason. Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector, and even the small amount of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power a city of machines. It is familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far-off way, because Darkside, that place and your memories of it are muddy haze, but it is hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors. 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport's, and that wild, flickering city growing on their back like a tumor. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial, but deep in Factory Row, you could almost be back in Darkside. And then you see them, tubes, just like those Seraphin had waved in your face, the feed lines. You push over to the display window of the unit marked Karsten's Supply, in block capitals cut from hull plate. There, amongst an angled shelf of oversized ship components, sit the feed lines, like some large biomechanical tangles of snake. You step inside with the sound of Factory Row's little screen, and spot a large figure working on a bench, hunched over, concentrating. It seems he doesn't notice you enter. Hello. A sharp eye glints as the figure looks over his shoulder. Can I help you? His accent is heavy, but unknown to you. Those feed lines, how much? There's a sharp click as Karsten places his tools and the component against a magnetic plate on the wall. He turns with a surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on a cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Karsten's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. Custom built those for a client that never collected. He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. You have one of the old MEVs then? He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. You try to recall anything you know about your ship, but the memories elude you. Perhaps Seraphin should have come along. I think so. Karsten squints a little. Right. Look, Karsten drifts over to you where you're standing in his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in a distinctive monotone. Let's say a few hundred cryo. On clean shits. He shoots a glance at the feed lines. 400, let's say, to be precise. I don't have 400. Karsten looks you up and down and sniffs. It's expensive, I know. It's a shame, but it's just what they are worth. He screws up his mouth a little into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of the bartering type myself. Barter sounds good. Karsten nods sagely. There's a little favor I need a crew for, and well, you look like you might be a good fit. He tucks the cloth away in a pocket and clasps his hands. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there. Very old, pre-collapse. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one has ever really cut it. He shrugs. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by an unfamiliar ship. So it's been left well alone. But a salvager like you, with an old Solheim rig, I bet it wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming, he smiles. I have a special interest. a need for that old tech. All those Solheim ships have a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports or material ledgers or whatever they kept on the damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So, if I was to find you back here with that data core in your cargo hold, clean cut and complete, well then, I could see my way to doing a straight barter for those feed lines. Carson pauses, sniffs at the air again. You just need the coordinates. Simple as that? Simple as that, he repeats in his monotone way. So, you interested? He glances back at his workbench. Because I'm a busy man. Alright, I'll do it. Alright then, he holds out a heavy hand for you to shake, and as you automatically reach out, he grabs your forearm instead. Carson pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, alright? He half smiles, his face huge and close. It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little drive into your palm. Those coordinates, and then he lets go of your arm with what you swear is a wink. You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air, Carson having returned to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Carson's supply with a growing mix of anxiety and excitement in the pit of your stomach and the cacophony of Factory Row in your ears. A contract. Seraphin might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route out. You think of leaving this place behind in possession of an improved ship, too. Suddenly, a small but firm hand falls on your back, an equally small voice coming with it. Hey, wait up! You turn in the passage to see a young woman, her hair waving from the rapid glide. She clearly just came out of to catch you. She steadies herself using her shoulder. Sorry. She smiles a quick and flat smile. Wanted to catch you. I'm Judy. Her dark eyes flicker around nervously. You notice the portable terminal she carries, something data scrappers call a deck, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. What's up? Karsten, she starts, still catching her breath. He sent me to grab you. She smiles, that flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes shoot down the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. Why didn't he tell me? She glances back towards Karsten's. I guess he forgot? He does that sometimes. She looks sheepishly at you. He just grabbed me after you two were done talking, so... Karsten's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out. Keep an eye on things. She pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So, she looks around the passage. Should I meet you at your ship, and you can tell me when you're ready to go? Sounds good. Okay, great. Her eyes light up. She notices she still has your hand on her shoulder and takes it off. Junie pushes off the waves, looking forward to working with you. She calls back as an afterthought. I don't know if I trust her. Oh, I'll find it. She calls back and then disappears down the passage. You watch her go, glad of the contract, but nervous too. Will Karsten's keep up his side of the bargain if you deliver? New locations covered, new local crew available. I don't know about this, sleeper. Seraphin looks nervously out of the rig's windows as you finish explaining Karsten's deal as well as Junie's offer to help. If this job was easy, Karsten would have done it himself already. That means there's a catch. He frowns at the stars. And there's definitely something going on with this Junie girl. He shakes his head. What choice do we have? What if, Seraphin narrows his eyes, we could get the cryo together to buy the feed lines? Is that even possible? I found a contract board at the exchange further in station. He gestures towards the export. We take on a job. That might get us some of the way towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do want to take Karsten's job, a bit of money to get ourselves prepared wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel, supplies, be ready for whatever comes. Do we have time? Probably not, but without cryo for fuel and supplies, we aren't going anywhere. Seraphin sighs. Just take a look at the contract board, see what you think. While you're at it, you might want to see if you can scare up some freelance crew, too. Seraphin shrugs. Many hands make light work and all that. Or we stop messing around, we take Karsten's job right away and get it done before you can think twice. Seraphin yawns. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, I'll still work. I've still got work to do on the drive. Seraphin nods a farewell, heading back to the engine room. Let me know what you decide. For a moment you pause, letting out the haze of plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly you curl up, pain shooting along your spine. You grate your teeth, your muscles lock tight. Your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift, as if some connection has broken. It's almost impossible to describe, like you are floating away from your body, dispersing, dissolving. There is nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold on to. You grit your teeth. And then another shift comes, and you are back in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. The pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb, and then a residual flicker. You flex in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of distance that persists beyond the pain, a disconnection between your body and yourself, a flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot has done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you will have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. It could be moments away from collapse, or it might persevere for countless cycles like this. You try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until they feel like they are yours again. Time is the only thing you need, and right now, it feels like it's running out fast. You head back to the airlock. You have work to do. You have unlocked a contract. Open the map screen to view it. Okay. Complete board contract, recruit local crew, get the feed lines. So we have a miner here that we really kind of need to worry about. We can look at the map, and it shows where we're supposed to go. Contracts are high-risk, high-reward jobs that you and your crew can take on. Contracts require preparation and care to succeed. You'll need to gather enough fuel to travel to the contract, gather as many supplies as you can afford to keep you and your crew going, look for opportunities to recruit crew temporarily or permanently to help you on your contract. Consider which crew can take carefully. They have different skills and stress resistances, and who you choose can affect the story. Once you are ready, you can select the contract on the map and then your crew to proceed. I don't think I want to do that just yet because that needs a lot more fuel than what I have. So I have to take other jobs just to do that. Here is the contract board, though. Disable signal source 200 cryo, but that is a risky type, and I only have 1 dice left. Buy signal contract. And we put in cryo for this so that we can gain coordinates for a different thing. Okay, well, we know about that one. Let's look at the other crew here. I guess we have to, chat with the crew? Or explore the docks. Alright, this is a 50-50. -1 energy, but I didn't have any other way to go. Okay. Now we have no more dice, so we're going to have to go back to our rig. So we can end the cycle. Oh, we got some really good dice here. Okay. No odd jobs, it looks like. Okay, so this is the crew. This is what he's doing. But he's not really gaining us much. I'm going to scavenge some fuel. That's what I'm going to have him do. Yeah. Okay, we definitely need the crew, I think. The crew is what we need right now. So, we've got you. This gives us a risky, but that's kind of fine. I have no more energy. You have used all your energy and now starving. While starving, you gain 1 stress per cycle, and any energy loss accrues stress. Eat to regain energy. Okay, well, I have some money. I did buy stuff, so I think I can come over here, right, and go here to eat, and I use the 1 supply. Yeah, that's much better. Let's use one of you. Export connections. Okay. As you're gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cuts through the conversation, drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at the bag slung over his shoulder. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, Seraphim told you to keep your head down. I cannot rush in, but I can cause a distraction. Okay, we have a check pass. You look around for something that could break up the fight and see the thick cooling pipes running down the alley wall. You quickly try to understand the system and choose a valve to start spinning. As you do, the system begins to vent in sequence down the alley. Violet jets randomly burst into the air. There's a scramble in the alley, and you spot the figure who is being attacked drop down to the alley floor. Then your vision instantly fills with pale liquid as jet of coolant jumps out nearby, missing you, but sending you spinning in 0G. After a few moments, you manage to steady yourself. As you do, you see a clear alley, the assailants having fled with one figure gliding towards you. Stubborn salvager, Captain. I suppose you think that was clever. The man gives you a severe look. You like to break up fights you didn't start? He laughs. Belt's gonna eat you up. He shifts his large badge on his shoulder, weightless but unwielding in 0G. I was helping. The man laughs. Well, he shakes his head. Thanks, I guess. He kicks off and drifts past you. You watch the man go, and then after a moment he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looking down as he does. What's your deal, anyway? He sighs. Maybe you are new here, but Hexport is no place for do-getters. I need help. The man raises his eyebrows. So you look for trouble. He shakes his head. You've got it all wrong. Look, let's not hang around here, all right? The man pats his chest. I'm Fimi. He unshoulders one of his bags and pushes it towards you. Make yourself useful. Let's head. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him to the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you are following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out the viewing window at its odd catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. Symbol Crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship's name. Fimi, you bringing in strays? A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. She glances at you. No offense. Nia, Fimi shakes his head. This one, he squeezes your shoulder. Help me fend off some Hexport scum while you are busy sunning yourself. Nia raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you could handle them, big brother. Her glib response hides the flash of concern that passes across her face. You can't tell if Fimi noticed. Nia turns to you. Thanks, she smiles sweetly. I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots him a glance. Just in general. Nia, Fimi murmurs. Enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you were carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you, but stays silent. Factory Row wouldn't take these. Fimi hefts the bags. I'm going to load them back up. Maybe we'll find a use for them. He turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, Sleeper. He nods firmly. Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the car bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the Symbol Crash. Nia looks at you with raised eyebrows. I hope my brother was joking, or did you really help him? I tried. Thank you. She looks back at the ship. My brother needs help more than he admits. What do you mean? She tenses. I don't know if... She smiles a tight smile. I shouldn't have said anything. She pauses, thinking. I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath, then gives you a direct look. What is she building up to? Are you looking for crew? She looks away. Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, you are on Hexport. Maybe you are with the crew. She stops herself. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you are looking? I am. She struggles to hide her smile. Nia looks back at the ship, then at you. Look, I'll be honest. Being here on crew with my brother is nice, but he is suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, but he still sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? Shouldn't I ask your brother? That is exactly the point. She shakes her head. No, you should not have to ask my brother. Her eyes flare with anger. She catches herself. Sorry, she pauses. I'm a good salvager, all right? You can use me. She smiles. I can spot things, find gaps, weighs in. She folds her arms across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Femi taught me well. She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, all right? Let me prove myself. Suddenly a shout comes from the ship echoing down the passage. Femi. He makes both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance as she departs and then disappears in the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. So, we have one upgrade point. Welcome to the character screen. Here you can upgrade and reconfigure your sleeper. On the left, you can upgrade your skills to improve skill modifier applied to your dice when you undertake an action. To the right, you can upgrade your push, the unique ability of your class. When upgrading your push, only one upgrade at each level can be active at once. You can configure which upgrade is active only at a hub. I have 1 point available. So I guess I can't... I have to have 4 for that. I guess I can not do any of this? I have to have 2 points for anything. Then why do I start... okay. That's kind of how they want to do things, which is fine. Yeah. But that's how it is. But I'm going to go ahead and leave this video here. I'm actually going to head up to the movies here in a second. So if you guys like it, let me know in the comments, and I will probably play some more. This game seems really fun, but it might just be me playing on my own scenario. Yeah. But until then, guys, be kind to each other as always, and I will see you in the next one.